All right, Ben. Jesus Christ. All right, we're ready to go.
Sounds good, man. Let's do this thing.
All right, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Preferably Biased. Everyone is highly exhausted from the new move back to Frederick. It's the first time we're actually going to be in. This is the first time, or second time, that me and Parker actually been in the studio together. He's been over the Skype for a long time.
Yeah, it's been bad.
It's been hell on earth. I'm glad that we can finally get this shit going. And then, of course, the right when we get back here, we don't have time to like really research all the shit we want to talk about today, like do a drastic. So we're probably just gonna be fucking around a lot. But we're here today with our friend Davion Williams. He's a comic from where are you from, man?
Baltimore.
Okay, Baltimore.
Wait, where is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
In Maryland.
I'm just kidding.
Like, I don't know how to answer that specifically, but
It's right in the it's right in the middle. It's right where would you if you, okay? So you know how Maryland looks like a gun.
yes,
It's probably a bad thing to use with Baltimore. Like just.
Well, the basketball team used to be the Baltimore Bullets, so
I thought it was Washington.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
Washington.
Yeah,
They
they
never
never
had a
mind.
team. They don't like us.
They had to change that because all the murders.
Oh no.
What do you mean? Oh no.
Well, you gonna change them to wizards to become nerds now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you couldn't. Everyone got all upset because they figured it was like the Bullets was a trope. I don't know if I'm using that word properly. It was like I'm gonna use it again. A trope on the community there, all the murder and everything. So they were forced to change it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, before they gentrified it. Yeah.
Gentrified it. Okay, so we'll go into that. Let's just talk into the gentrification stuff. This is what I don't understand about the gentrification. We weren't even planning to talk about this. I'm so sorry.
Sure, let's talk about stuff.
But what exactly is the problem with that? Like people moving into the community and raising the value of that community, like the how much the housing costs, the businesses that are coming there are better. What's so negative about this gentrification stuff?
Because the people who are living there initially are used to a certain standard of living, and raising the price on them, they're going to get pushed out of that area because they can no longer afford it. So where are they supposed to go?
They're supposed to go to a cheaper area.
Yeah, but the area they were living in, they have to uproot their entire lives. You don't know the situation about the situation. Like, there's a lot that plays into that. Like, I'm not an expert on it, of course, because, I don't give a shit about anything. But...
So it's a
good way to live.
Good way to live life, actually.
No, there's actually too many issues at this point. For you to actually, like, really fix something, you have to dedicate your entire life. And I have too much that I want to do for me to dedicate myself to any one particular issue. But gentrification is a problem. Whatchamacallit? There's... I have I have friends in like high school and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they used to talk about like their families getting evicted and having to find new places to live, and they're making ends meet like month to month trying to pay their rent and shit like that. They can no longer afford it if they find new stuff. It's just a big hassle for low income areas and stuff.
Right. I don't know.
So the cost of living goes up while the people that live there aren't making any more money. So
Exactly.
They have to,
So either have to take another job to continue the lifestyle that they currently have, or they have to move out to different areas, and that's just pushing people into like
So
poor areas.
because everyone's thing is just to keep these people out of the communities. So they want to use the government, like we'll use government force to prevent people from moving into the community or preventing certain businesses from coming into the community. Because I don't ever understand these people's solution to all this. It's basically just stay out of our community.
I don't know. Oh, that's a bigger issue than I think that we can actually follow on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Oh, we do it all the time. we take on the biggest issues,
Yeah,
so we
just
condense them down to 2-sentence solutions.
Yeah.
Figure out the meaning of life while we're at it, man. Let's do this shit.
A lot of solutions come down to just like stop bitching.
Yeah.
that's not actually what they go to. But.
Nah, man. I don't know if there's a way to fix this issue. Maybe not raise the prices, or pay people more, or the whole what is it? Minimum wage. Pay people a living wage so that they can live in certain areas.
So tie the minimum wage to the cost of living.
Yeah, but it's a bigger formula than that too, because certain areas don't have access to like poor areas don't have like grocery stores. And
Yeah,
stuff
like
that.
food deserts
Like
and stuff.
food deserts and stuff. So like,
You gotta talk to the mic.
oh yeah, like food deserts and stuff. Like certain arears don't have places to get food and shit like that. So,
Yeah.
there's a big formula of like making sure that people can actually have more than they so they can live and shit.
Or some people do it, which isn't like a huge help, but where you can only like raise rents a certain percent each year.
Yeah.
Which
Well, I've heard
rent controls.
There's been a lot of negatives with rent controls in the past. That's contributed to even further homelessness in like San Francisco and shit like that. It's like the way that rent control in San Francisco and those areas worked was so they set a cap on what you could charge for the certain. It wasn't like luxury apartments, but like certain level of apartments. So people didn't invest in making those apartments anymore. So there became a shortage of those apartments, and then people. So the people who got locked into those prices never moved. So people couldn't like, and instead of living with like two roommates, they just lived by themselves. So that's why the shortage got even worse. So there's no more being made. Those people aren't leaving, so more people have to like commute into work constantly. And with the gentrification stuff, it's a lot of these places where they have these rent control laws. That's where the worst gentrification is, because the luxury apartments don't have those sort of caps. Those you can so people invest in those. They only make the luxury apartments, and then the overall price of the area goes up because of that too.
Okay, so I like to think in terms of like idealistically, like what should happen with stuff like this, because I don't know how to fix these issues, but there are enough houses for every single person to live in a house in America. There's actually more enough, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a lot of fucking houses.
There's a lot of
People
fucking
just make
houses, and there's a
right.
lot of houses that are unoccupied, and there are a lot of homeless people. Why can't the government? Sorry, this is talks of the man, which is not what you're supposed to do. But why can't the government just repossess homes or put people into housing? Like,
so wait,
there's generally like a sentiment in America that the government can't just like take wealth from people.
There are certain.
I'm not completely against the socialists, take the means of production. I think that can work in some
I just
cases.
want to raise the standard.
I'm completely against that.
But like in America, generally you can tax people's income, but there generally isn't what you're talking about would basically be a wealth tax.
I'm not saying that this will, well,
you said redistribute.
If someone has like a summer home, like a beach house and a regular house, you're saying like take the beach house.
Not necessarily, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. People can own land. I'm just saying raise the standard of living for people who don't have anything. Everyone at a baseline, you have a house. You can be in a house because there are enough houses for everybody to live in one. Shoot, we can invest in affordable housing. Like, that's not a problem. There's enough space and there's enough area for people to just have houses. So start there. Everybody's got a house. Boom. Build from that.
I love how easy that was. Everybody else. Boom. Done.
Build from that.
Well, I like it. You have to see like how much it would cost. You know what I mean?
Please, we spend more money on bullshit than we.
Okay.
We both agree on that.
We agree on that we spend a lot of money on like war and
Especially
other
on
bullshit.
war.
There.
Bullshit. So invest in affordable housing.
Here's the thing that I'm always talking about with people that want to like increase the spending. So they'll go. So we're already in debt by like we added like a ridiculous amount to the debt, like almost $500 billion. Actually, no, a whole trillion, didn't we? We went up another trillion. We're at 22 trillion now.
Trump's raised the debt more than any other president, like by a lot.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, more than
Obama did it way
more than Obama.
At the same rate. No,
we can look it up.
Look that up.
We had the numbers before, like our second podcast.
Trump's raised the debt more than any other president per year.
Donald Trump.
While you're looking it up, another part of it is like there are places in America that have very affordable housing. It's just no one wants to live there too.
What areas like that?
Like Montana.
Fuck Montana.
Like
dude, no one wants
Colorado.
to live in Montana.
What the fuck is going on in Montana?
Nothing's going on in Montana. The people over there not the people in Montana suck. But they suck. Like
don't look up
Clearly you have no fans in Montana.
Just look up like U.S. government debt added per year.
U.S. debt added per year.
Well, we can't trust Wikipedia.
Or the deficit, or deficit by year. The deficit's the same as debt added.
Held by public.
U.S. debt by president per dollar and percent. All right.
We're not gonna be able to find this.
You should be able to find it like very easily.
I found this before, and
U.S. debt increased by fiscal year since 1960.
Does that go till now?
Here we go. So it increased over $1 trillion the past year. What did it do during
Obama
come in 2008? And you're going on a per year basis?
Yeah, I thought.
Because he raised it. Okay, so when Bush got in, Bush raised his overall time is 8 years in there. He raised the debt more than all the other presidents combined. And then Obama, when he got in there, he raised the debt more than all the other presidents combined. And then now Trump, I think at this point he's actually. Don't get me wrong, they're still spending like a motherfucker.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, but because I remember looking at this before.
Fiscal year.
He. It's still bad. What's one?
At this point, it's basically just
$1.21 trillion. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. But last year, because when Trump got in office, 2016. So the first year that he was in there, so 2017 only went up.
670.
After the tax breaks, it went up 672 billion.
Okay, that's not.
And that's still really bad.
Of
Don't
course
get me wrong.
that's
But
bad.
anyway, my broader point on the whole thing is people always talk about, like, so we're going to the debt here, and the interest payment, because we tallied this up a little while back. So with a $22 trillion in debt, with the interest payment right now is less than 1% on that debt. If the interest payment, eventually they're going to have to go up. The Federal Reserve is going to have to raise the interest rates. If they go to 5%, just the interest payment on that's like a couple trillion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's scary as fuck. And you're not gonna be able to pay that.
Okay.
That's more than your overall, not a couple trillion, but a couple. How much is it?
We've talked about the debt a lot on this podcast.
So, question for you guys.
Yeah.
Raising everybody's standard of living versus people who already have like a high standard of living, they make tons and tons of money. What do you guys think about there being a cap on the amount of money that you can actually make at a certain point?
Like a max,
a max. Like if you made it, you did it. You're rich this year, and you make that much, and all the other money goes to the deficit.
Here's.
No, I'm against that because you can, like, the way Amazon paid no tax this year is because if you have a cap on how much money you make, there are ways you can subvert, like.
You mean like invest out of the country and stuff
exactly,
like that? Shouldn't we tax that?
Well,
they're based in America.
Well, we should. I totally agree. We should fix tax loopholes, and
I
would agree that there should be a very high tax rate on, certain amounts when you make certain amounts of money. I would totally agree with that.
Okay.
But,
my thing with that is like, okay, so we're talking about deductibles. The deductibles in theory are really good because a lot of people who start small businesses get a lot of deductibles, and it helps them to grow their small business.
Good.
Right? And that helps the economy and all that jazz.
Good.
In the most idiotic way that I can say, it just helps the economy because the more small businesses can afford to actually grow because they're not paying as many taxes. But the bigger your company gets, the more deductibles you're able to get, the more lawyers and accountants you're able to pay for that can find these deductibles that are further in the tax code. And the more advantages you get. So it seems like the way that's set up now is the bigger you get, the more advantages you get. So would it be a better system? I know it gives you the advantages and deductibles, but just have no deductibles whatsoever. And you just got to pay a percentage of what your business comes in. Because I saw Elizabeth Warren.
like your percentage of your revenue, like your net revenue?
Yeah, like what you...
No, because that would kill, like there are tons of businesses that have very small profit margins that would just murder. A grocery store makes like I think it's like a little bit over % of like their difference between their revenue and their expenses.
Yeah, it's really
so
fun.
any rate that you'd have to do it for each market and business. You know? The way I see it more like from like a political strategy standpoint is that like especially small business owners are like a voting bloc, So the reason why they have so many advantages is because they will vote for whoever gives them the most advantages.
Right.
That's why you have all those like rebates and stuff for them. Which I'm cool. I'm cool with small business, but I think
well, people are going to bitch about Amazon not paying taxes. And that's the reason they don't pay taxes. They take out all those deductibles. Like, it's things that can help expand.
Exactly, and that needs to be stopped, I would say. Like,
but
that
it shouldn't
needs
just
to be
stopped it should just
on
be,
super large
your
businesses.
business has gotten this big, now you don't get deductibles anymore.
That's how it works for a lot of stuff.
So that's how you think it should work?
I think, yeah, I mean, especially when you have, like, I definitely think the tax rate on, like, higher on, especially the super wealthy needs to be higher. because but like, I think that's how it works with a ton of businesses. Is like, if you get to a certain size, you have to provide health care for your employees, right? Like, small businesses don't have to do that.
Yes.
When you get to these, well, I personally too think that like some businesses like Amazon and Google and Facebook are getting to be too big, where they might need to be like broken up and
That's
stuff.
what they were saying about Walmart back in the day.
Huh?
That's what they've been saying. They say that
Walmart is a terrible company.
Every generation.
They have very predatory practices in certain areas.
What they call like the
They're very
welfare queen or something like
Huh?
that? The welfare queen or something like that? Like they force their employees to make just enough so they have to go on welfare or something like
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is welfare. Like when you look at how much the federal government or the state governments pay Walmart employees, it's basically like they're subsidizing this entire labor force that Walmart doesn't have to pay. You know what I mean? And that's fucked up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think that through. Just because you don't need any real skills to work at Walmart, like in the slightest. And the people who do have any skills at Walmart do get paid a fucking fair amount and make a good living. Like their managers and shit like that.
Not
Like,
as much as you would think.
how
but-
should it, like, here's my thing. You're a cashier. Alright? How much money should you realistically make? Should I be able to buy a house with the cashier's fucking wage?
Cashier's salary.
Yeah.
I think it
That
depends on.
literally requires no skill to do that job. You do very little to help society overall.
Mhm. Not everybody is given the opportunity to pursue bigger things because people have obligations and
It's
responsibilities.
not wrong. I
No.
mean, it's not wrong.
It feels like it lacks compassion.
I don't think it's gonna matter because there aren't gonna be cashiers in like 5 years.
They're all
Yeah, that was
That's
what
the real
Andrew Yang was
problem.
talking about. Like they're coming for our jobs. The robots.
the robots are coming from.
That's a scary thing that I brought up here is like, me and Ryan talked about this. I can imagine a future where rich people just own everything, like where they just own all the boat
We're
factories,
basically already
and we're not quite there yet.
We're basically there, bro.
I mean,
how much
we don't own a ton of wealth, but like the income generated for the middle class is still like competitive with like wealthy people.
Really?
Yeah.
Not the amount of wealth that people own, right?
The amount of income coming
But
in.
the amount of income is a lot more comparable. It's still not good. It still seems like there is a large concentration of wealth, and that it's going to continue to increase the concentration of wealth into
Because
smaller
when
and
you
smaller
have wealth,
hands.
it makes wealth. Like that's money makes money. So
It's generally true, but like back in like the 20s and stuff, the like income tax on the highest tax bracket was like 80% and stuff. And so there are certain like things, and like just from a purely economic standpoint, it's generally proven, or most economists agree, that when you raise the standard of living for like the poorest people or like the middle class, that generally helps the economy
yeah,
overall.
when people have money, they spend money. That's how it usually works. So
It's called demand side
But in the-
economics, right there.
In the most like general way of how we've expanded people's standard of living throughout the years, it's been through mass production of goods, right? So you mass produce a good because you've been mass producing it so much, the cost of it comes down because there's so much of it in relation to the actual demand of like, or the amount of people who want to purchase it or that exist in the country, right? So when that's why I would still want the deductibles that we talked about earlier, because it would incentivize people to start businesses and start building shit.
I wouldn't completely agree with that. I think a lot of the standard of living raises have come, especially with medicine, have come from people that didn't have an economic incentive to like make those things. Like the guy who invented insulin sold the like copyright for it for like $1 or something. Like there are a lot of people that want to help
That guy's a
people
fucking idiot.
that without like they don't need an economic incentive to like force them to help make society better.
Yeah,
if that
well,
makes
okay,
sense.
so
I agree that a lot of it has come from it.
a lot of it is that. I mean, that guy's just like a fucking saint. You sold the cure
The guy
for
who came up with
diabetes
the
for $1. I'm sorry, guy. You might have cured diabetes, but you're an idiot.
The guy that came up with the Haber process in Germany, which, if you don't know, it's like the thing that takes nitrogen out of the air and it basically makes farming like twice as effective.
Mhm.
He wasn't super rich at the end of his life. Like, he basically has made it so half the population on Earth is like able to live because of how good he made like farming.
Yeah, he just made some shit, and then some other guy was just like, I know how to market this. Like, and then that guy started getting around there, and he made a killing.
Everybody's just looking for a way to come up, man. Nobody cares.
Just gotta learn how to sell. That's what it is.
Jesus.
I don't know, but back to like how do you raise the standard of living? I think it's a very hard question because especially in places like San Francisco, they are like the homeless people there almost are in. I just recently watched a bunch of documentaries, especially on the homeless people in Seattle, and like it's not a housing problem. It's like a lot of people are saying it's a drug problem more than a housing problem, and that like literally every single homeless person in these homeless like communities is on either methamphetamine or like heroin basically, and building a house doesn't get somebody off of methamphetamine.
I guess so. It starts when you're younger too. It's what you call it. Some of the communities that I talk to. How do I phrase this correctly? Yeah, like when you were younger, did you like have the option to like even get access to methamphetamines or anything like that?
Not meth, but like
Not meth, but other drugs, stuff like that.
like a lot of temporary legal amphetamines.
What?
Put it that
Wait,
way.
what?
like Adderall and stuff that was going around.
Oh,
tons.
I mean, yeah, that happened.
Hey, you
Yeah.
know what the name for Adderall is? Like the scientific name?
What?
Amphetamine.
Amphetamine. Salts.
Huh?
Salts.
Yeah, but it's literally amphetamine. Yeah, salts.
Salts.
Salt's the same
It's not
as
meth.
It's not meth. No,
I'm
but
not
it's-
taking meth. I'm prescribed it. I'm not a meth
What are we
addict.
talking about, right?
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I love Adderall. Adderall is the only reason that I function as a good student. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, dude, that was a sack of
I
human garbage in high school.
I've gotten straight A's in college so far, except for this semester where I didn't take my like medication as often. Like, and I got like C's and B's, and I'm like, I wonder why.
Yeah, it's
No.
because I'm
Yeah.
I'm on meth right now.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
focusing- I shouldn't have said that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
basically what it is.
I remember reading an article saying that they were thinking about making stuff like that legal for kids who were like in school and stuff like that, like prescription stuff. Like,
Really?
yeah,
For little kids?
not for little kids, but like,
Like literal meth?
yeah, well, not meth.
No, I think it just means Adderall.
Adderall and stuff.
Oh, I took Adderall when I was a kid. When I was like in elementary school.
Really?
Really?
Because I have really bad ADHD.
I know.
I still have
I didn't know
like
they let
bad
you do that.
ADHD, huh?
I didn't know they let you do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah, my thing is
I didn't have a personality. I've had to
Still don't.
grow. Yeah, I know. I've had to grow this personality in my basement by reading manga. No, I'm just
Manga.
kidding.
Manga is the shit.
What is that?
Huh?
It's
manga?
Japanese comic books.
Yeah.
basically.
Like anime, most anime is based off of manga.
Okay, bet.
You been watching One Punch Man?
Fuck yes.
Oh hell yeah!
Dude, I've been reading it too. Like I'm way.
Oh, dude, don't spoil anything for me.
Oh, it's a comic book too? I don't know anything about any of this stuff.
Yeah. It's
So manga is like more like a graphic novel, I guess I'd say, than like
Yeah.
literally a comic book. But Saitama, One Punch
What are you
Man.
talking about? I feel like we had like an important conversation that got sidetracked.
Oh, fuck it. One Punch Man.
I fucking love One Punch Man.
That shit.
It's-
That's what we
It's
need.
the only anime that's made me like laugh out loud. Like that first episode of One Punch Man,
Yeah.
when the kid comes on with the chin. You know what I'm talking about? I crack the fuck up.
I don't remember that.
Look up One Punch Man chin. This kid, the guy's like I'm looking for a kid with a big chin, and I was like expecting something like kind of dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
That's before he went bald.
Yeah.
Oh, this is in Japanese?
Yeah. They only
There's
have
an
a
English dub
sub.
version too, but yeah,
No, there's a dub.
there is.
I don't.
Oh, cool. Well, all the episodes I've found have only been subs.
Yeah. I think the dub happened like a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Oh my god, look at it.
I like the look. I cracked up so much seeing that.
I have to watch the dubs. I can't sit there and read the whole thing. The whole time.
Really?
A lot of dubs are shit though.
What do you,
Yeah.
what do you mean? It's just I can understand it.
Yeah, but once you get used to certain voices, it's
Yeah.
kind of weird to.
Yeah.
See, I don't even get it to the point where I'm beginning the like I understand. And also, I will give you this: that language is a lot more like intense when it comes to those sort of things. Like if you're fighting and someone's yelling at you in like fucking Japanese, it's very intimidating.
Oh,
Also, in
absolutely.
anime, everything is the most intense thing ever. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like trying to pass a test, and they'll be like, "He's going to pass the test right now. He's putting all the right answers down. There's no way we could possibly do this."
Shoot.
And like,
Even mundane stuff. Like, remember
Yeah.
the cooking show? They were just like, oh my god, he's seasoning it with salt. Oh my god, who would even think of something like that? That's cool.
well, that's why I love Saitama, because he's just like there'll be this big bad villain. He'd be like, "I am the Demon King from below the earth. I've come back from thousands of years to kill your entire species." And he'll be like, "Okay."
And he just punches him once in his own.
Yeah.
Right. Is it, okay, first of all, is that really what the show is?
Yeah.
It's literally
This
this
guy
guy that
literally-
beats every enemy with one punch.
How is that even
And he does
fun
it.
to watch?
He does. That's the thing is, you think it'll be so stupid, but
It's actually
it's really good. Yeah.
Is every fight 5 seconds?
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
This
it's
is so
usually
stupid.
it's usually like other people fighting for a long time, and then they lose, and then he'll come at the last second.
Yeah.
And be like, oh
Why
yeah.
I'm like,
wouldn't
oh.
he just always come in?
Huh?
Dick.
Or they're like they'll beat him up for a while. They'll kick him in his face, or like he'll go into a concrete wall in his face and just be like, "Oh, that was a good kick." Yeah, and then he'll just beat him. And my favorite part is everyone else has like these moves. So it'll be like Gorgon Cannon finishing play, and then his moves are just like step to the side.
Yeah.
Like his moves are just like punch in the face or regular punch.
Regular punch, or
Yeah.
consecutive regular punches.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is.
Does he yell that before
Huh?
he punches people?
Well, he doesn't yell at all. He just goes consecutive regular punches, and he just punches the guy. A couple
He's like
times.
Austin Powers.
Oh.
He just calls the
Shoot him,
shot
shot.
before he does it.
Well, that's a big thing in anime. Is like when you
They
have
have
to do
names.
your move.
I'm not well versed in anime. I
Well,
know.
When you're about to do your
Dragon Ball
special move, they do it in Dragon Ball Z, Kamehameha,
Well, that's
or
one
Gallic
thing.
Gun, or Special
every
Beam
anime.
Cannon,
You know what they're
or
not doing? You know what they're not doing when they're fighting Majin Buu in that one? Every time he's fighting him, he's not going punch, right, left, right, ah.
well, that's the joke.
Yeah,
is,
exactly,
Is
yeah.
everyone else has these super awesome moves, and then his super awesome move is just punch with my right hand.
So it's making fun of animes.
Oh yeah, that's the thing is it's a deconstruction.
I just never watched it. And then every time everyone explains it to me, he's like, yeah, this guy, he's bald, and he, hits people, and they die. And we won't punch.
Basically, yeah.
And I go, okay, that sounds like the worst fucking thing in the world.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is it sounds bad? That's why I wanted to watch it, because I'm like, that sounds like the worst show ever.
Yeah,
And then everyone said it was really good, so I'm like, how the fuck can the show be good? And I think it's hilarious.
I watched Samurai Jack back in the day.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the new season of that?
Huh?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
finished it.
they had a new season where they finished
When?
it. Yeah.
Like last
You
year.
haven't seen the extra thick memes?
No.
No?
Bro, he lost the sword.
I haven't been on
He
the internet the
tried
last couple of days.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
pretty good. I
So,
like the new one.
What was happening with this milkshaking thing?
Oh, this shit's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the milkshaking that's going on.
Brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah, so a bunch of people have decided that the more right wing politicians, people who want the Brexit from Britain, want UK to leave the fucking
Do you know about Brexit at all?
yeah.
Vaguely.
Well,
So basically,
Britain's
they
trying
had
to
a
exit.
referendum to vote, and they have to leave the EU, but it's been delayed a bunch.
for 2
and-
years.
Yeah, well, because they thought they were going to get all these good deals, and then Europe was like, "Oh no, you're fucking on your own if you leave the EU." And there's been all this debate, and Theresa May too just got stepped down as prime minister.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the people who want to leave, their main thing is the fact that it's people can migrate from all these European countries and just come to the UK and whatever, and that they don't. There are a lot of people whose concept behind it is you're gonna have so many people here migrating here, and it depresses the wages of the lower skilled workers. And that was a big argument. That plus a lot of from what I know, the European Union is pretty much run from Belgium, isn't it?
Or Germany is the big swinging dick.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
EU. Basically, Germany decides a lot of the banking rate. Germany is the big force in the EU,
right.
with France and Britain being the secondary powers.
In the UK, basically doesn't even control its own laws that it's making. The EU somewhat, but the way that they pointed out in some documentaries I watched is they can do some bullshit, but then they gotta go to the whole EU Parliament or whatever and get that done, and it's such a fucking terrible thing. But anyway, these guys don't want to go. People just start hitting them with milkshakes all over the place.
No, one guy does it. One guy did it originally.
It started with one guy,
Yeah.
and now it's gotten so big. Every time these guys go out there and go anywhere, they're getting fucking pelted.
Well, he had to stay on his bus for like 12 hours because there's a group of people all drinking milkshakes. You know what I mean? You can't arrest somebody for drinking milkshakes. But they were right outside his bus. You know what I mean? And it's like a group of like 13 people all with milkshakes right out your bus, like about to fucking peg him in the face or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
They made the local McDonald's stop selling the milkshakes because like when these politicians were in town, like no one sells milkshakes.
That's funny as hell.
Hold on, is this the original video?
I think so.
Because this guy that does it too. Holy fuck.
That's the guy?
Yeah, that's
Nigel Farage.
Fuck that guy.
Hold on.
I'm surprised nobody got shot.
He's not even expecting it.
Hold on.
This is getting kind of intense. I mean, watch it not even hit him.
Oh no, it hits him. It gets him
killing.
good.
When is it gonna happen?
I think that's the guy stalking. See him in the background? That's got to be him.
No, it's not that guy, not the hoodie. It's a real basement dwelling looking dude. There he is.
What? Really? That's it?
So it did hit him in the face?
No, but it got all over his suit, which is even worse.
Look at this guy. Motherfucker. Anyway, I've seen a lot of things online where like the right wing guys are coming out and they're like, it starts with a milkshake.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
And then it's a gun.
I heard it was a whole conspiracy to show how easy it would be to assassinate him. They're like, if you can hit a guy with a milkshake, you can shoot a guy with the
Sounds like that
you
dodgeball.
can't,
If
because
you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
If you walk around with a gun, the people are going to be looking at you like,
exactly,
well, you have a fucking
especially
milkshake.
I mean, conceal carry, keep it in your pants.
Keep it
You
in your
can't
milkshake.
get a gun in prison.
Keep the gun in your milkshake.
Oh,
That's how you do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it starts with
No.
just a milkshake.
We're going to get in trouble because of that. Somebody's really going to do it.
I mean,
We're not
we're smart.
First off, this is all characters you're playing.
Right.
And second off, we're not encouraging anybody to shoot Nigel Farage with a gun in their milkshake, for the record.
Milkshake.
Lawyers, police.
My thing is this, though, man. Like, people, like, the people on the right made such a big deal about it, and the people on the left in that country are just like, this is hilarious. Like, this is great. So they're condoning being a fucking little piece of shit. Just showing,
it is. Oh, come on.
Well,
it is hilarious.
It's funny as hell, right? But my thing is this. Like, this is pretty big news right now over there, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. But it keeps happening because they freaked out about it. Like, if you just sit there and go, yeah, fuck that guy, I guess he doesn't like what we're doing, and then you ignored him, like, okay, cool. If Nigel Farage would have just taken his little finger and licked up some of the milkshake and then ate it, he would never be milkshaked again, because it would have made this little fucking...
Or if he came out drinking a milkshake next time.
Right. Or, like, just started pouring milkshakes on top of himself. Like, oh, yeah, I'll do it myself before you can even get me. But they're not... Nobody, like... Okay, so that's the one thing with Trump that... I don't respect it, but it's like... I get how nothing ever sticks to him. Like, when the shit was, it's like, anything when it goes into his life about being, like, a sack of shit throughout the rest of his life. He goes, yeah. It was a sack of shit. Like, I did it. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? But then people go like, oh, I guess he's a sack of shit. Who cares? But these people who freak out about these stupid little things, then they want to keep pushing it because it's really...
I mean, there are going to be dumb stuff like that focused on the left and on the right, and people on the other side are going to, like, eat that shit up and be like, yeah, that's an atrocity. Like, what is it? The one time Barack Obama wore, like, a tan suit, people were like, oh my God, he's wearing a fucking tan suit.
That was
like, that's dumb. But stuff like that's dumb, and people on either side are going to, like, eat that shit up and, like, make it bigger than what it's supposed to be. Like, you can't get mad at most of the idiots on either side.
The only thing I'll say is if someone threw like a milkshake at AOC, people would freak the fuck out.
Right.
They'd be like, it's a hate crime. It's
oh yeah, absolutely.
It goes back to the cultural roots of milkshakes and how
traditional drink. They would find
how horchata was a traditional drink of people, and they'll pull some bullshit too. I think most people are laughing at this though.
I'm laughing at it, but I think it's ridiculous how many people put like everything gets put into these extremes. And this is how you can tell it's fucking bullshit. Like, one side is like thinking like, this is like a revolutionary thing they're doing with these milkshakes, and the other side is thinking like it's a fucking hate crime. Like you were saying, the thing is a hate crime against like the right wingers because they're throwing milkshakes.
I think most right wing people would laugh at this. And the guy getting a milkshake thrown on him, that's hilarious. That's like getting pied in the face, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
So compare this to the whole punching Nazis thing. How do you feel about that as opposed to this?
I don't think you should be assaulting anybody. When that shit was going on, my thing is this, because I think you should let the Nazis just go ahead and have their little thing and talk, and then you should go and protest and talk against their stuff and explain why it's utterly ridiculous.
But you can't argue against somebody like that because their mindset is you're not a person, your opinion doesn't matter.
No, you're not trying to sway.
Oh, they think I'm a person. I'm pale skinned.
Yeah, they like him.
No.
That's what they like that.
They like my superior 5'6" jeans.
Listen,
I am the. No.
Second thought, they probably killed
we're
Parker,
obviously
too.
not
Yeah,
arguing
probably.
their point, but their point is that you're not a person, and we've seen what happens in history when they talk, they get power, they shit on everybody else, right?
We saw that once.
That's more than enough, man.
No, it's
There have
not.
been a lot of nationalist movements that have done a lot of harm throughout
Yeah,
history.
but a lot of the time, those nationalist movements are like so.
You're trying to downplay
Cough,
the negative
Armenia,
effects.
cough.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like those national movements,
Japan,
the speech in those
Armenia.
countries were limited, and a lot of that stuff went on the ground. You couldn't really argue against it as much as you can now with the internet. Like somebody puts something up, people can have them arguing against it immediately, and then a lot of people see that argument. It wasn't like that back in the day.
I personally think Nazis fuck everything up, right? Because there are general like principles of society you should have. Like generally you should listen to like other people's arguments and stuff and try and like really consider them. But then when you bring Nazis into it, like I'm not gonna listen to a Nazi's argument, you know what I mean? And generally you shouldn't punch people in the face for political movements. But then there are Nazis, there are literal Nazis.
Actual Nazis.
But then the other problem is a lot of people, especially on the left, call a lot of people Nazis. They would like a lot of people have called Ben Shapiro, a Jewish person, a Nazi. And it's like if you say it's okay to punch a Nazi, then the argument isn't whether it's okay to punch this person. It's can we rationalize that this person is a Nazi? Okay. I think,
and they rationalize the shit out of everyone being a Nazi.
Or a lot of their opponents being a Nazi.
Yeah.
I think it should be illegal to punch Nazis, but I'm not
It'd be
gonna
illegal to punch anybody.
Like if some dude goes, "I went to jail for punching a Nazi," I'm not gonna be like I'm gonna be like, okay,
yeah.
like you're perfectly fine with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. I understand why you would. But don't. Don't do it.
It's like when
and you have to go to jail if you do it.
It's like when like you have these stories of like a dude like rapes a guy's daughter and then that guy murders the guy and you're just like,
I get it.
Should you go to jail?
Yeah, you murdered a guy.
Murder should still be legal, but we can have a beer. It's fine. You know what I mean? We're totally cool.
I don't think you're a sack of shit for murdering a rapist.
Yeah. And I think it'd be pretty easy to convince. It'd be expensive, but it'd be pretty easy to convince a jury not to convict you for punching a Nazi. You know what I mean?
You guys kind of tied in the whole rape conversation, and I agree with what you were saying.
Oh no! Can we not talk about rape?
No, sorry. I was more going to talk about it.
Okay,
honestly,
talk about rape.
I didn't want to talk about rape. I want to
we
talk
don't
about
rape. Why you all nervous, Parker?
About sentencing.
You
and
haven't
stuff
seen
like
it.
that.
No.
You haven't seen the things I've done.
What have you done?
Well, I'm mimicking Parker. I don't rape.
Oh shit.
There are a couple of sticky body pillows.
Okay. That was really unfortunate.
I really like One Punch Man.
All right, back to the rape conversation.
It wasn't a rape. It was more about sentencing and stuff like that. Like situations where like rape and stuff happens. Do you think sentencing is fair across the board for poor people and black people?
Oh hell no.
Okay.
Oh
so
no,
when
black
it's-
people are so fucked
in a society
But I think
like
it's
that.
more.
how
I think
do
it's
you-
more the first thing you said. I think it's more poor versus people like who can afford a really good lawyer and shit like that.
Well,
Honestly-
my personal view is that black people are completely discriminated against.
Absolutely.
There's been tons of studies, and there needs to be justice reform. That's one of my big things. Is like there have been tons of studies where you control for economic status, and black people are still discriminated against.
Here's my thing with the whole just reform. So I think legalizing all drugs goes a long way preventing gang violence and goes a long way to limiting how often police come in contact with black people, because most of the things are drug related, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the deaths.
Sure, absolutely, but they're still disenfranchised. Like policing happens more often in poor areas, i.e., where black people are generally are.
You don't have to say poor areas. You can. Like, it's been studied that it's like black areas, even when you control for people making the same amount of money per year.
Black, yeah.
But that's a good question. It's like, but in areas where there's more crime, don't you want more police or no?
How about you fix the community?
Yeah, well, I agree. I totally agree.
And two, the people who should be policing those areas should be people from those areas, so they know
that makes a lot of sense.
Because
I'd be down with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like when you have, not to say like when white people that don't know the area or don't know people go into the areas, everybody is a threat. It's like, oh my God, I don't know him. Hey, you look suspicious because you're like that's
right.
Well, a horrible thing too is black cops are racist against black people too. There have been a bunch of studies about that, and it's like, well, what the fuck is going on there?
We have one article on here.
Not trying to read like.
No, I think I have to look into that more because I'm not.
Oh yeah. But just if you get a second, like there have been some studies. Some people think it's to like show off for the white cops. Some people think it's part of like the policing culture or something like that.
Police culture is pretty bad. They need to be better training and stuff.
Well, we had one problem with the police is we had an article on here that we looked at this. Like they're literally like this is a great video. We'll get into this one. This speaks to your point. But they're literally not allowing people who score too high on IQ tests to be.
Oh, they've been doing that for forever.
But like, why in the world? I understand why you do that. Is because someone who actually has a higher IQ is going to sit there and question like authority sometimes. Like I understand why you just get some fucking idiot, but to think that is going to lead to better policing is beyond me.
They don't want better policing.
Good point.
They want a force that they can control and tell what to do, and people that think for themselves
don't do that.
That's why I didn't get that job at Walmart.
That's not why you didn't get that job at Walmart.
That's exactly why.
They made skills.
They made me do They made things like one of those.
If you're able to fill out the form to apply for Walmart, you're not allowed to work in. Oh, dude, that's horrible.
Makes sense. That's why they all go on welfare, like you were talking about.
Dude, the thing is, there are a million fucking videos like this. It's really sad.
Yeah. This one's actually really bad. Like some of the videos I'll see, and then they'll go after them. I understand, but this one is I can't even defend this one. So this guy lives. Oops.
So did somebody complain in the beginning of this video about him being there?
No, this cop just saw him around and came up and because he lives here and actually works as well. And he picks up trash around for some extra money. I think he's a college student.
Yeah.
And he just saw him going around there and tried to stop him. And it keeps escalating to the point where he calls back up. People have guns on.
Oh yeah, I saw the video, but like. Actually, one of my other friends shared it. Yeah, just the story behind it. I haven't dug deep into why he even came up to him in the first place.
Why would you call the cops on someone picking up fucking trash too in the first place? Like,
I mean, there's
what the fuck is wrong with
a lot of videos like that of just
yeah, I know.
People get real scared when people that they don't know typically in the neighborhood.
Racially inclined sometimes too.
Yeah,
though. Like,
don't get me wrong. There's a lot of racists who are afraid of black people who call them that. But there's a lot of racists who call them black people because they don't like them in the neighborhood and shit. I understand that. But like, I don't know. I can't defend this one right here. This is pretty bad.
So, what is the situation where he doesn't have a right to be outside?
Like he even showed him his school ID.
Yeah.
That's well,
I just think like if a cop stopped me outside my building and asked, prove that you live here, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't
you
carry
could.
around a what? I don't carry around a.
School ID.
I would be like, hey,
Oh, I have a
follow me to
school
my
ID,
room.
but
I would be like, hey, follow me to my room. Oh, it fucking opened up. Shut up. Get out of my face, fucking stupid cop. Like, the guy's just being a dickhead. But, I mean, you're obviously probably not thinking that at the point where the cops get, because, I mean, you're just thinking, like, oh, this dickhead's fucking with me for no reason. I don't need to show you this. Go eat my dick. Like, but what should he have just taken him back and opened his door?
Well, he tried to do that one, but at what point is it harassment?
Oh yeah, no, you're not wrong.
well, that's why part of the Constitution has a part where like cops can't search you without reasonable cause. And like this is, I would say, is unreasonable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not trespassing. He's obviously working. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It even gets to the part like right here now he's gonna detain the guy. And
But what though?
I'm not sure. He keeps calling this thing he has in his hand a weapon, and then pulls his taser out on him. This cop sounds like every stand your ground guy I've ever met in my life.
That's a weapon.
Yeah, he goes, no, you're coming at me. I swear to God. I've seen things where people stand your ground and then like they've been to jail because they're fucking idiots for this one. But they've literally like followed the guy going, get away from me! Get away from me! And they end up shooting the guy. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Everyone's just so, there's so many people in this world that just want to shoot some guy. And you know cops are like that too.
They shouldn't be cops.
Well, the problem is there aren't enough cops as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's hard
like,
to get them.
Like, the police station by my house has a sign up about hiring police officers, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like,
Well, the fuck,
what
that
the
thing
fuck
is-
are you supposed to do if there's a shortage of cops and a decent bit of your cops you have are horrible? Like, what the fuck do you even do? You know?
And then for every video you have like this, there's a video of a cop going up to a car, and then the guy, he's like, "Oh, how are you doing?" So then the guy randomly shoots the cop.
What videos?
I've
I
never
haven't
seen
seen
any of
any
You
of
haven't
those.
seen any of that? There's a ton of videos like that. On lively.com real quick.
That's wild.
No lively.
Shoot.
Oh boy.
I got pulled over by a cop a couple of weeks ago, and I had like a salad and a brown bag by my feet, and I could feel when the cop like looked down, he's like, "What's in that bag?" I could feel him tense up, which made me tense up, and I saw him go like, I was like, "Dude, it's a salad. Are we good?" Like just in that moment, like if I had said anything, like I don't know why he felt threatened by me at all. Look, you hear me? You hear me? You see me? Like
Yeah.
there's nothing threatening here about me. Why would you need to do that?
Yeah. It's horrible.
But it is what it is.
That fork is a weapon. You have like a
That-
plastic fork.
A fork is a weapon.
It's
It's
a weapon.
fork. Get out of my face, man.
I've been stabbed by a fork before. I know how painful it is.
I got stabbed by 3 forks in Nam.
Alright, I'm not gonna
They don't
find
have
one.
forks. They have chopsticks.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's culturally insensitive.
Yeah.
Alright, let's keep going with this one.
Jesus Christ, that's so
How-
dumb. How is this guy not fired though? He's threatened. If you're threatened by a clamper, you shouldn't be a fucking cop.
And someone not coming
Jesus
at you
Christ.
at all.
Yeah. Or just tackle the guy. Like, don't tase him.
Well, a lot of these cops aren't like a
If he
lot.
had tackled him, that would have been way worse than the situation, I
Been
think.
tasing him?
He didn't actually tase him, but if he had tased him, yeah, then of course. But
Yeah.
like he didn't do anything to him. He just kind
Okay.
of threatened him.
Dude,
He
like-
pulled a gun on him, which is
That's stupid. That's
Stupid
so
shit,
stupid.
This is just a terrible cop. But
Okay.
a lot of cops don't go through any sort of like every cop should have to know judo, or like jujitsu or something, or boxing. Like Cops should be like fucking fighting machines, so they're comfortable in a fist fight, so they're not always pulling out these guns because they're afraid of the guy.
Well, there's supposed to be a pattern of escalation, right? So like, if a dude even if a dude is attacking you, but he's just using his fists, you aren't supposed to like pull out your gun and shoot him. You're supposed to
pick out your
fight
baton.
him with your baton. Whereas if someone has like a knife, you know what I mean?
See,
Then you can like.
But here's the thing: when you're a cop, like if your life feels threatened, you have a right to defend yourself. And if you thought he had a gun or something like that, I can see that situation.
But then you can just always say, "I thought he had a gun."
That happens a lot.
It does
Yeah.
happen a lot,
Yeah.
but
There's not an excuse.
So that's my
It's
thing.
happened too many times where they go, "I thought he had a gun," and it's a packet of raisins, and you're like,
But how do you? Okay, so that's a big thing that happens all the time. Oh, I thought he had a gun and he's going in there, so I shot, and he gets off because
it has
had-
to be a case by case basis.
he
or
thought.
something like that.
And then you have cases where like something like that happens, but the cop actually, it's all true. He killed the guy and he did think it was a gun. But if you don't have that sort of thing that allows the cops, you're gonna have a lot of that would be considered an innocent cop. The cop thinks that a fucking
"Oh, 2 points. One, we've been doing it as a case by case basis so far, and from what I've seen, cops almost never get prosecuted.
Thank
on
you.
jail
That was
time.
where I was.
And
going
if they
after that.
do get prosecuted, since they need cops so bad, hey, you got kicked out of being a cop in California, you can go to New Mexico and be a cop. You know what I mean?
right.
Hey, we'll take you right on board, right? And the other thing is, like, at some point, I hate to say this, but at some point, like, you go, like, you chose to be a police officer. There's some inherent risk to being a police officer that, like, your life feels threatened. Like, you signed up for this, right? Like, you...
Why don't we have people in the military actually be our police officers? Like, if you
that doesn't sound good.
Why
I
would
mean,
that
like, the
sound good?
army operating
No,
on...
no. I'm not saying you.
Domestic
I'm not.
soil?
I'm not saying that you give them all the equipment that they're using overseas and shit. You give them all the equipment that the cops still use now, but then you actually have. Okay, so that's no
Wait,
different
so you're
than
saying like a branch of the army operates inside the United States?
No. Like they're out of the army now. They're just
So
cops.
tons of them become cops. But also, you have tons of PTSD and mental illness after you that. You don't want those people being cops.
Well, I mean, you have a.
Hey, somebody that has a panic attack every time they hear gunshots, let's make them a cop.
Well, you would fan some out and let some of the higher IQ guys go. I mean, they.
Oh, of course.
Back
Yeah,
to the
no.
hierarchy.
If you're in the Air Force, you're not allowed to become a police
Yeah.
officer.
So I mean,
Wow.
but the thing is, like, even with that thing right there, where they don't let people with a higher IQ even be a cop, it's like you're talking. They're not even trying to like fix this problem. They're fucking it up. So they have undertrained people, because okay, so some PTSD guy comes, but he'd be comfortable in this situation here. A guy that went to war.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think war for most people, it does a big toll on your mental health. For most people that actually see live
Do we know
combat.
any comics that were in war?
Uh,
What's his face was, right? The guy with the not foot, lost his foot or something like that.
No, he lost that on a roller coaster.
did you really?
No, I only know who it is.
Oh, God.
I only know
I
who the
want to
guy
say
is.
it's like Chris something.
He's funny as shit too. The guy with that brings a dog.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He was in a war.
I like him.
Yeah,
He's pretty funny.
You should bring him on and have him talk about that and see if maybe he can give you some perspective.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
All I have is, recipes for jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken?
All right, go
Caribbean?
ahead. Go ahead.
What you're gonna need garlic. You're gonna need some onion powder. You're gonna need someone who actually knows how to cook. Because I'm just bullshitting at this point.
Okay. I was waiting for him to be like
Like I was thinking
chicken.
to
You need
myself.
chicken.
Yeah.
You do need chicken.
That's the secret about jerk chicken is
It's
there's
not
no
actually-
chicken.
it's not actually
yeah.
chicken.
It's just
You
jerk
just-
chicken.
Salt,
Yeah,
pepper, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I was thinking, how far do I want to commit to this bit? No.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's got 8 cops around him, a bunch of them with guns
Jesus
drawn
Christ.
over this kind of shit. Like, it's
Jesus
not even.
Christ. That's terrible.
Okay. So how do we incentivize more cops? This is something.
Yeah, pay him more.
You gotta pay them more. Okay, same with teachers
Cost
too.
money.
Huh?
Yeah, with teachers, yeah.
There's a lot of jobs. That's okay. There are certain jobs that are necessary for the fabric of our society. So what if we just made those jobs super incentivized by the government? At least teachers and shit like that. Is that a way that
I'm
we
not against raising the pay of teachers and police officers. I
There
think
we-
you get a lot of better
Well, there we go.
police officers
We'll
if you
get
pay
better,
them more.
get better police officers. Whatchamacallit,
What should a cop make? A cop makes less than $40,000 now.
They have dope benefits and a pension, though.
and they work a shit ton of overtime too.
Get rid of all the pensions. No one should have a pension from the government at all.
Okay.
That's over $1 trillion a year we're spending in pensions, and it's only getting
it's
larger
all
and larger.
collapse at
Like
some
they just
point.
keep giving this money away, and all
Chicago
they're doing
is about to go bankrupt because of it too, I think.
good. Like I'm so tired of Chicago. Like just overall, I just can't wait for some of these cities to go bankrupt like fools, and these pensions can't be paid, and people just start going crazy. Obviously, I hope it's just going to be as violent as it typically is in Chicago in that situation, but
Wow.
it's not going to be.
We can't talk. I live in Baltimore. I can't talk about how violent another city is.
That is actually a valid point. I should probably shut up. I don't have a right to talk about that.
Well, that's the thing is, doesn't Baltimore have like the most racist cops in the country too?
Yeah, pretty corrupt.
Like on
cops, too.
average.
Is it?
Well, because like a lot of incidents happen in LA, but LA has like a ton of people, so it's like less per person.
Okay.
Here's my thing though.
The corruption of Baltimore too. Oh, did you have that story of? Did you guys hear about Baltimore's like city services are being hacked?
No.
Yeah, I can't pay my bills online.
Yeah,
That shit was wild.
What happened?
they got. So I read into it too. Like Baltimore didn't shell out any money at all for like cybersecurity, so it got hacked and it's being ransomed. I think it's still going on.
Oh yeah.
Is it there like the website that people would like pay their bills and a bunch of other stuff too. I think like water services or something.
Yeah,
is run
I
through
couldn't.
there.
I couldn't pay my water bill.
It doesn't work right now.
Are you being charged?
They-
How's the thing
at
work
the-
if you can't pay it?
Right.
They
Well,
just
they
shut your
say
water off?
they can either go downtown and
You
pay it
can
downtown,
with
or
a check, right?
yeah, or you
Who
can
has
wait until it
checks?
comes back up and they'll reimburse you and say, "Hey, we're not going to cut your water off because we understand the situation."
Right. That's good.
But that's ridiculous, dude. Baltimore has so much corruption and shit.
Yeah,
too.
Baltimore's, yeah.
With the fucking mayor and her kid books.
yeah.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Oh my God.
But I read this whole thing where they've had like 6 directors of IT. I forget what the exact like name of the position is called, but like in like 5 years I think, and they just keep firing all these heads of IT. Every time they go, hey, we need money so we don't get hacked, they're like, goodbye.
We hired you to sit there and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, pretty much.
What'd you do? You talked. You fired.
But it's just crazy that the city of Baltimore is being hacked right now. They don't even want that much money. I think they want like $70,000.
I thought you were gonna say $70. I was like, can we have the money, right? I gotta pay that
Shoot,
right
I got it
now.
in my pocket. We can
Should
make
make a
that.
PayPal.
I was like, I will
for-
go save
for,
Baltimore
yeah.
right now.
That's hilarious.
I will get you your bill back for your water.
Jesus, I mean, I'm in no rush, you know. Free water, okay?
Oh shit.
Free water.
Oh god. Still looking for a job, Parker? Maybe you could be the new head of
Yeah,
IT.
I'll just go, hey, give me money for cybersecurity. No. Okay.
I'm
Cool.
good.
We might get hacked.
I
When we get
asked.
hacked, I'll go, you should have given me money for cybersecurity.
But I'm not gonna force
You know?
it. You know, I
Yeah.
like this job.
It's on record. You did ask, so you can't.
All
be,
of
you
IT
can't be-
is just cable management, too. That's all it is.
It's what?
Just plugging in cables to computers and then zip tying them so they stay neat. That's
Yeah.
all IT is.
Exactly. You gotta get good with
No, I'm
duct
just
tape.
kidding.
I was say, I was like, I hope it's more. There's a whole college that you had to go.
Nah, man, we just learned how to use duct tape. That's all it is.
Dude, I think all of Baltimore was being run on like 4 computers too.
Really?
It was like 4 or 5
Holy
computers.
shit, man.
And it's like, I think they're from like the 90s too. They aren't even like modern. Like they should have a gaming PC. If it's running like the bill systems, you know what I mean? That shit should run like 60 FPS, any video game, you know
You
what I
can get
mean?
that for like $1,500.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
This is the thing I never understand about like government spending on all levels. Is they never spend the money on the things that you would logically spend the money on, like building up your infrastructure there, the IT stuff, and getting legitimate computers like you're talking about. but they'll spend some stupid shit like on some sort of like heroin den for people to go there and do heroin. They'll do or to ship. They'll spend money to ship their poor people out of the state to San Francisco, which is crazy. That's happening. There's cities literally
They'll give
using
you a bus
taxpayer.
ticket to San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in like Nevada or tons of cities do it, they'll pay you for a bus ticket. That's how they solve their homelessness problem.
Yeah, they just send them to San Francisco because they give like some sort of benefits and help them out a little bit more.
Jesus.
So that they go over there.
No, it's because
South
everyone
Park
wants
did
to
it.
live in no one wants to live in Montana when you're homeless. You'll freeze to death.
True.
You're like, hey, you can live here or you can live in sunny San Francisco, where there's also a community of homeless people.
Didn't South Park do an episode on that where they were
Yeah.
like they're nice to the homeless or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
I remember that.
But that's a real thing that happened. South Park got so much shit right. It's like terrible. But what else were we talking about?
We're talking about spending. Transparency
Well,
for spending, I
the
think.
thing is that you aren't going to get elected saying we need to up our cybersecurity for our water bill payments.
Right,
No
so
one gives a shit
Whose
about
fault
that.
is that then? That's the people's fault.
Yeah, it's the people's fault.
So all the
People
shit.
only spend money on stuff they can get elected for.
Yeah, so that's my thing with when everyone's talking about like, oh, we have this corrupt government and all this shit is going bad and the police suck. It's like it's literally your fault because you don't vote for people who want to do realistic things.
Yeah.
You vote for people who want to do the thing that's going to help your interest in the short run, which makes sense. I understand you're all selfish people out there in the world, but it's the citizens' fault. We're voting these people in every single year.
I mean,
Well,
it's like the worst of two evils, though. Like, the people who we could have actually literally voted for last election was what? Hillary and...
No, I'm talking about local elections. No one
Oh.
gives a fuck about any local
I
elections.
don't give five.
No, that's true. But
I
a lot of
voted
people
like
think the system
two,
is-
I think.
A lot of people think the system is broken, so they're just like, I just keep my hands off it. That's also part of the problem. But
Yeah.
Well,
that's
that's
something that historically disenfranchises you. Like, why would you give a fuck about it at all?
Well, that's the whole thing with voting blocks too. Is if like farmers, right? They get tons of subsidies. You know why? Because farmers vote.
Yeah.
They fucking vote. But if you're a group of people that doesn't vote as much, or won't give tons of money to political campaigns, you're not going to get as much benefit from the government because they don't think like you're not helping them win elections.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense because if you go out there and you have a new regulation or subsidy that you want to, like your state wants to do on their like voting day. When's the last time you all read those?
Oh, I read them.
I read them a little bit, but when's
I
the
didn't
last
hear what
time?
you said.
Referendum?
No, when's the
Like-
last time
like-
you actually researched those things before you voted for them, or before you read them there at the voting booth?
Never.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the time.
Because it's like what you're talking about. Oh, it's a farming subsidy, a bill that they want to pass, and they need people. I'm not voting for it. I didn't read it. Fuck it. I'm an idiot. But all the farmers, like you're talking about, or anyone connected to farming,
They
or any
know,
of those
they know what
food
it
processing
is.
thing, they're getting people out to go vote for that thing.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's also though, I definitely think there needs to be like campaign finance reform. I don't think you should be able to give money to PACs. It just leads to corruption.
Yeah,
It
PAC should
always
be
does.
done, and I don't think that
There should be a
companies
cap on how much a person can give to political campaign.
like 10 grand.
Yeah.
Good. You did it. Like that's a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
You're helping people out. Like good job, guy. And then I think because businesses at this point can just give up. Businesses are pretty much considered people, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't think they should be.
Yeah.
I think it should be whatever guy owns that business should have to have his name on the limited donation that he can give. That would go to help a lot. Because like you were talking about with these super PACs.
Yeah, well, a business should not be able to donate money to a political campaign. Like, it
It's a
sounds
conflict of
ridiculous
interest.
when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
McDonald's is backing a politician.
Mhm.
Like, what the fuck? Why do they get a say in elections? You know,
Even
people are
the
the people by the people, man.
even the unions.
Oh yeah, unions.
Even unions shouldn't be allowed to be donating all those large sums of money to people like that.
I'm like, they're the real problem with
You seem to
unions
have
are
a-
the
Go ahead.
oh yeah,
Go ahead. I'm
Well, just
thinking
real
about
quick,
that statement. I'm not sure how I feel about
like I generally am for like private unions if you want. I think there are good unions and bad unions, but generally it's like the public unions that really,
The ones that are backed by the
cause
government
problems.
and then
or like the police union.
yeah.
Like part of the reason why police people don't get prosecuted as much because the police union is going to hire you a damn fucking good lawyer if you shot somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, but sorry, Dave.
I didn't have anything to say really. I just think that unions, in general, and idealistically, unions are for the people, and they should have at least some.
You would like to think that.
Idealistically,
I think a lot of people who run those unions are really in it for themselves, and they want more power.
I mean, but that's every politician or person in power ever.
I know exactly, but that's why, like in my idea, unions should just be because a lot of people are trying to unions are trying to lobby politicians in order to make laws that mandate people who aren't even in the unions but work underneath of the same job have to now pay union dues even though they didn't join the union. Like that sort of thing's fucked up.
Okay.
And then say remember scab workers back in the day.
Yeah.
People would they'd undercut the union during their strikes, shit like that, going like that. Now some of those people are forced into the union when they join. You shouldn't be forced into a union. If I want to undercut what the union's doing in order to get myself a job in there, I should be allowed to do that.
Yeah, but I think it's also unions are a lot less effective in the globalized economy we have now. You know, if people want to form a union at your place, your manufacturing plant, you can just move it somewhere else now. You know what I mean? There's a cost to that, but it's a lot easier than the 50s. Huh? What'd you say?
So that's capitalism at work, baby. That's why they need the homeless. Oh, you don't want this? There are motherfuckers who will die for this position, motherfucker. You ain't shit.
It seems like for capitalism to work, you need all of the world to be capitalism instead of all the sacks of shit.
For capitalism to work, you need everyone to have the same amount of money.
What?
Yeah.
Capitalism?
Yeah, because the whole idea of markets is that people spend their money. If people all spend their money on something, that means that it's a good product, right?
Right.
Imagine the opposite. Imagine if one person had all the money. Capitalism wouldn't really work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening now? Capitalism now?
Starting to.
It sounds like what's happening now.
The concentration of wealth keeps getting
But why does Amazon have such a... why does Bezos have so much wealth? I mean, he provides a lot of services for people that improve their everyday lives.
Alright, I'm just going to tell you what a socialist would say right now, is they'd say, the only thing he did was organizing. All the millions of people under him.
If you didn't organize all that, it would have never happened.
Yeah, you're right. He probably provided a decent bit of value, but...
Also, the other thing is, and people always talk about, so they're comfortable with the owner of a business getting some profit on his business for a while because of the risk he had to take and the money he had to take out loan-wise or invest into the company. Mm-hmm. Once you recoup that, then no problems anymore. Some of these fucking assholes say. But even, there's some more extreme people. But even on that level, you get to recoup those profits because the people underneath of you that work underneath of your business, you get sued for the things that they do. You're liable for your employees' actions. That's why the owner...
LLC. That's the whole point of an LLC.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right. I'm a fucking idiot.
It's that you can only sue the corporation and not the person that's running the corporation.
Yeah, you're right. God damn it.
Well, the question is should it be... should there be no checks at all? A real example that's happening right now is housing, right? Housing prices are skyrocketing. But what happens to a lot of people is they can't pay, they can't buy a house, so they have to rent.
Just wait for the next crash in the housing market.
That's easy if you have a lot of money.
No,
it's not easy if you're...
not. I'll have a decent job going on the next couple of years. It'll probably crash It'll probably crash in 2-3 years. I'll buy something else as a foreclosure.
All right, but you can imagine a world where the rich people just own all of the housing and rent it out. And that's scary to me. That can happen under unchecked capitalism. And it's there should be some safeguard against that built into society.
You look like a big white Buddha.
Huh?
I think he just called you fat.
I am fat right now. Right now, that's a key point.
I'm fat too right now.
I gotta start cutting.
I'm surprised any woman would ever want to be with me right now.
Aww.
I'm so fat.
Look at your hair, man. It's nice.
No, it's not. It's not even
You
done.
got like
right
a
now.
scruffy beard going on.
I do have a scruffy beard. That's like my one good thing.
I mean, it's not as luxurious as mine, but it's still pretty
No, you see, right? See that? That little humble brag right there. You sack of shit.
good. There ain't shit humble about that. It was
Your mustache could use a little work, Davey.
your face could use a little work, Parker.
It could.
Parker, I just realized you had your beard back.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
You know?
There's like 2 weeks.
I like have to not shave for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just-
You got like Irish in you?
Huh?
It's like reddish, right?
yeah.
Is it red?
Irish and German. Yeah, it's a different color than my hair.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
really?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
wearing colorblind,
There's-
so I can't even.
It's like 3 different. It's like blonde, brown, and red all together. Like each hair is like different. Yeah.
Because I got red in my beard a little bit too, but I also have gray hair, so I'm stressed as shit.
Oh,
So-
that's the worst.
Yeah, man, it's like little like gray and red stubbles in there.
Can I tell you one of the worst things is like you know how baldness like skips a generation each time, like or supposedly it does. Like my dad's bald, so I'm gonna hate. This is a weird tangent, but I'm gonna hate having to tell like my son like
You're gonna be bald.
you're gonna be bald when you're like 20. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be shitty.
That sucks, kid.
Are
Well,
you,
you guys got
do your
good
parents? Did your dad still? Do you guys' dads still have their?
My dad's
hair?
bald as shit.
Oh.
That's why I still have my hair.
Oh
Oh,
really?
you're saying it skips a generation?
Yeah, like I think it really does skip a
Shit.
generation.
My
What
dad has
scientific
hair.
evidence do you have?
But
of
does
that?
your granddad? Did
No!
your granddad go bald?
He did.
Oh, Davion!
Oh shit.
I can already see it.
I mean, I got a big enough beard. I'm waiting for
You
my
can do the bald head beard. Yeah, that
I'll
works
be
pretty
fine.
well.
I'll be fine, but Jesus.
But for white dudes, it does not look nearly as good doing the bald head
Well-
beard. It looks really bad.
No.
Jesus
And people
Christ.
think you're racist.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
right off the bat. There's no
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
They'll talk to you. Don't worry about it. They'll figure out that you're not.
Just
but
don't
right
get
off
any
the bat, they
tattoos.
think
You'll
you
be
are.
fine. Just don't be that
I
scared.
can't get a tattoo. I think I'd look terrible with tattoos.
Dude, I really want a tattoo. I'm starting to get the.
What the?
What are you gonna get?
Huh?
What the?
What would you get?
It's really dumb.
What is it?
It'd be words, which is like the worst tattoo. It'd either be the. Do you guys know the 40 Ounce to Freedom album cover by Sublime?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
they have the Sublime Sun.
That's
Here,
a-
look it up
right?
real quick. Look up, just type in Sublime Sun.
Sublime.
Yeah,
That right
to be
there.
that thing.
Really? That
Yeah.
seems like that'd be very intricate.
Huh?
That seems like that'd be very
There's
intricate.
like black and white versions. I
That
probably
seems
wouldn't
like
get a color.
that seems like something so many people have, and it's not original.
Exactly. That it'd be either that or it'd be like it'd be
Get like angel wings.
weed. Oh God,
On your
be
back.
Tony Ferguson. I don't think you're allowed to be fat and
You
have
should
angel
get-
wings, right? Doesn't that look horrible? Like a fat dude with angel wings.
I
A
have
fat
to
guy,
say-
a fat guy with anything looks terrible.
That's not true.
That's not completely true.
I'm pretty sure I saw
Pretty
like an
true.
old fat guy with like tattoos all over his body, like with stripes and shit like
Yeah,
that.
you can get some good fat guy
Yeah, there are
tattoos.
good fat guy tattoos.
But the thing is, like, I need to like figure out what weight I'm gonna be for the rest of my life before I get a tattoo. You know what I mean? Like, am I gonna be fat for the like?
yeah,
I
'cause
gotta at
you
least
work
try
out,
to
you
lose
get
weight.
skin,
one-
yeah.
one
Oh my
more.
god, a tattoo with like flab and shit like that.
Dude,
like excess
imagine,
skin.
yeah, or imagine you got really fat and then you like got skinny and your skin tightened up and it like shrunk the tattoo and made it look all weird.
Holy shit, dude.
It'd either be that or it's or we defy augury, which is a phrase from Hamlet.
What?
Shakespeare play. We defy augury. It means like we like make our own destiny, man.
Oh
You know what I
shit, that sucks.
mean? Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's pretty dumb.
We make our own destiny.
I hate all of your ideas.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
They're either super basic or
You should just get one behind your ear that's just it's like French and says
bag.
bag.
I'm sorry. You can't say that.
You can.
look.
You did. But I support
Maybe
it.
over the rules with you for this podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm so sorry.
I say it. I say it, but I don't use it as like
Other
a
not
hateful way.
Have you guys ever done the Magoobies open mic? Their thing.
Yeah.
That is the funniest. Is when what's his name takes you in the back and he goes, yeah, you can't say the N word or faggot, and it's just like you were okay with saying one of those, like
If you're, well, it was like.
Oh, if you're not gay.
If you're not gay, you can't use the F word. If you're
Yeah.
not black, you can't use the F word.
oh, he just said faggot
He
when I
said
was there.
faggot?
Yeah, he's just like you can't
Oh,
say
he said-
faggot.
It's the same thing with like midget. John Mulaney has that bit. He's like, you're not allowed to say the word midget
Yeah.
anymore. It's just as bad as the N word. No.
No, you just said midget. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
You literally just said midget. I'm hearing myself.
I thought that was gonna be like I heard about that so much growing up. I thought that was
What,
gonna be like a
midgets?
huge
Midgets?
or about how you're not allowed to call them midget. Like every stand-up comedian has a bit about how like you can't say midget anymore.
It's such a
But
I've
I
never-
don't run into many midgets. In
I've
my
never.
daily
I've
life.
met.
Dwarves.
Little people.
I've met 5 midgets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my
At
whole life.
once? Oh.
No, not once. That'd be kind of. I would have to leave. Like that'd be uncomfortable.
My uncle has a
Group of
fetish
midgets
for
like
midget
that?
strippers, actually.
Yeah, you have to. Wait, is yours a midget stripper? Man?
Yeah, the midget
Oh,
strippers. Why do midget strippers cost more than regular strippers? It's just you're getting less money, less body for your money.
I like calling them dwarves because I play Dungeons and Dragons, so it makes me think like
I think they hate that word.
I honor your craftsmanship.
I would say that too.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the technical term?
Dwarf
then?
isn't a midget.
But
They're two
dwarfism
different
is
things.
the what's the
What's a dwarf?
A dwarf is like so. A midget is like a real tiny guy or girl, with like little stumpy,
yeah
and a big ass head.
yeah.
Big head. Dwarfs are like. I might be completely wrong. But
Hold
dwarfs.
Look it up. Look up. Is a dwarf a midget? Dude, I'm liking this podcast so far. Dude, this is a fun one.
It's like, hold up.
I'm so.
There's
we
midgets
don't-
and
we
little people. Like, there's people who are like small but not technically midgets, right? Like, what are they?
I think there's a legal
Those are dwarfs.
standard for.
Those are dwarfs.
Those
Dwarfs are midget with normal arms. Right? Right?
Look up dwarfs versus midgets.
That's not funny.
He says it's not funny.
That shouldn't be funny.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even
You
trying to
spelled
be funny.
dwarves wrong too.
That's what midget's wrong too.
No, midgets is fine. But what is? We gotta find the technical
How
term.
I spell
Midgets.
dwarf?
We're not supposed to be saying
Yeah,
that.
we're not supposed to say it.
How I spell
It has a
dwarves?
V. DWARVES. Yeah, it's like knife and knives.
What did I spell? Like a dwarf son?
Dwarfs.
Maybe
That sounds
dwarfs
like
is right too.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I feel like that's
Oh
how
god.
Maybe you're
Oh
right.
god. It's like Ryan Nazer in dwarf form.
Hell yeah.
No, look up the. Don't look up the images.
Good stuff.
Midget versus dwarf.
Soft school.
Okay, can you back out of this and put it in technical term for midget, or the appropriate term?
Midget definition.
No.
You want the technical term for a midget?
No, I want the PC.
Oh,
midget.
okay. So dwarf is a specific genetic condition, and the other word. Sorry, I shouldn't
Midget is
say
the
midget.
offensive term, like the N word. What's the black
Yeah.
people of midgets?
Midget. It's a word. An extremely or unusually small person.
Synonyms: dwarf, baby.
Small
What?
person? Person of restricted growth? That's just a lot of syllables.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Person of restricted growth? Is
Yeah,
that on there?
That's on there. That's just a lot of syllables.
Oh, that one was just added to be like.
I'm not saying person of restricted growth every time. That's too long.
Homunculus. Is that worse?
No, a homunculus is like a. That's like a
Man.
person you make, like that. Like old alchemists would make people.
Aren't all people technically made?
What's
No,
worse?
it would be like when you make. It'd be like you make someone out of clay and you
Ah.
shock them with electricity.
I love how a
and make them
synonym
alive.
for midget is baby.
Well, that's for the adjective. So
So
like a
big,
dwarf,
small, very small.
like a dwarf car would be like
A baby
a
car.
small car. Yeah, or a baby car.
No. We're on the word midget, not dwarf. Like, you're not gonna be like, oh,
shit.
You're not gonna wiggle your way out of
Yeah,
this one.
that's not,
Wait.
that's not a midget car.
Oh God.
Like the synonym
I
for
feel like it
midget
sounds
is baby.
so offensive though.
A midget car?
We said midget so many
You have a
times.
big
dude.
car? No, I have a midget car.
We have
Oh,
a midget
God.
car.
That just sounds offensive.
I
I'm
don't
gonna have
think-
people protest our podcast.
I don't have a problem with the word. I'm also not a midget. But-
Exactly, you don't get to decide.
Yeah.
Is midget offensive? Yes.
I need to talk to a midget. I met one midget once, and his name was Dwarf Mamba. And
Dwarf Mamba?
yeah,
Are you fucking kidding me?
massive.
Why?
He was at my house playing FIFA.
Dwarf Mamba.
Just a giant racist.
Is he a porn star?
What?
Yeah, big old racist.
What was he, white?
Yeah, he's a little white guy.
Dwarf
He-
Mamba sounds like a black name.
He's like a
That's
big.
just my-
He's like a big dwarf. Like he's well known. I mean.
Oh,
Like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
He's like a well known dwarf.
Can you type in Dwarf Mamba?
I can. He has a bunch of stuff. But yeah, he's just. I'm not gonna get into how racist what he said, but he was. It was okay.
Red Rabbit.
You know how people get online. Let's just go with that. It's
Sure.
that times 100.
So he's like the YouTube comment section.
Yes. A lot of the N word.
Oh, well, unfortunate.
Dwarf Mamba.
7 joke weapons that were surprisingly effective.
Yeah, I watch a bunch of stuff.
Ugh.
It's like this little guy.
He was in your house?
Yeah, he went to Salisbury. He was the first little dwarf to make little vines. Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
There is so much content on the internet now. Like, I've never even heard of this guy. He's at 18 million views.
I think that's Logan Paul,
That
ain't
is
it?
Logan Paul.
Yeah, so it's
That's
lots of
fucked
that.
up.
So there's a bunch of funny shit. Basically, it's just that
It's the
over
same
and over
joke
again.
over
I
and
mean, that's
over
what like
again.
mainstream
yeah.
stuff is nowadays. You know, Haha Davis. You ever heard of him?
No.
He does the same bit. He's an Instagram comedian. He does the same shit over and over and over.
Really?
And people just eat it up. It's crazy.
Do you guys ever watch Caleb City? That's my favorite.
What's that?
Oh, dude, this dude's hilarious. Look up on YouTube, Caleb City,
I spelled Caleb.
CALEB.
Really?
Yeah.
I figured it would be more like intricate.
Nah, I was expecting it to be a K.
Fuck.
Oh, really?
Caleb.
City and then Plant. I think that's my favorite. This is the first one I saw that I thought was hilarious.
Caleb, what's his last name?
City Plant. Like, that's the name of the YouTube channel. The first
Oh, this
Plant-
guy? This
yeah.
guy's funny as shit.
Yeah, I love this dude.
What the fuck?
Just some water?
Fuck. What the fuck is this?
And what is he, like a fucking...
Hold on.
What the fuck is this?
The first
What
man
is
to
this
become
shit?
a Venus flytrap.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know I didn't know any of the
yeah.
context of it.
He used to be a Viner, and then now he's on YouTube. His shit's hilarious. Dude, his shit's hilarious.
How many video views does this have?
It's a couple million, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
4 million.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, look at his his YouTube channel has like a ton of 1.5 million subscribers.
Good shit.
I'm subscribed to this one.
Good job, guy.
All right, do you guys want to do a political thing now?
We can. I've been so out of it today. I got really drunk last night. It was bad.
Yeah,
Did
me
you?
too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get drunk, but I had a...
And also with the nice. Also this week with the whole move and
Yeah.
finish up all those
Yeah.
exams. I didn't even read.
And I'm
any of these
sick,
things.
so we're just like the trio of.
I'm very low energy right now.
Oh, I feel you.
Fuck your couch.
Y'all just want to call it a day?
Yeah.
I know it's a terrible way to.
You're gonna have to edit out that last thing I just said.
What? What'd you say?
I'm not gonna say it again.
Dude,
You're just gonna
what'd you
edit
say?
it out.
He said, "Fuck you, couch."
N-word?
I might have said the N-word.
Oh, you're allowed to say that.
Sure, but
It's like a midget saying midget.
I just don't want to rub it in y'all's faces because y'all can't.
It doesn't bug me. I'm not.
When you're not here.
Ah,
I'm kidding.
believe
I'm
it.
kidding.
But,
believe it.
Please don't.
Little
You
do
and your
know,
little Kanye Wu-Tang sweater, fuck you.
Little do you know,
I know.
Parker's not joking.
I know what I'm dealing with.
When I listen to some Wu-Tang Clan, sometimes I do a look around everywhere. I make sure no one's in the house, and I just like whisper it to myself.
I was there, Parker.
I heard the.
I couldn't see you.
Exactly.
No.
I heard the
Oh,
funniest.
that's bad.
I heard the funniest joke about that word the other day. So it's this guy. He's going. He goes, man, I hate the N-word. Like the N-word is just so hurtful, and I can't stand it, and I hate it every time I hear it. Like I can't even stand the word vinegar.
Oh my god.
And he goes, when I'm at a restaurant, I order vinegar. That shit.
That's kind of funny.
That shit was so funny.
That's the stupidest thing I think
That
I've
shit
ever heard.
was-
Or the word
That's
snigger.
clever. What?
Snigger, like when you.
What did you just say to me?
Like when you laugh, like
Snicker?
Snicker, you mean?
No, snigger. Snigger.
That's not a word.
That's
Yes,
not a
look
word.
it up. That's a weird word.
Snigger.
Like he was sniggering.
Stop
himself.
saying it.
That's a real word.
No, it's not.
No. Yes, it is.
You're trying to get a pass
Look it
right
up.
now.
Snigger.
It's Parker. I swear to
Parker.
God.
It's a real word.
It's not a word. How do I spell it?
S and the N word.
Oh, I feel dirty.
Laugh. Laugh in a half suppressed, often scornful way. Jesus Christ, you guys are out here.
Some white guy made that shit up and trying to say
It's like when you say renege.
Snicker is a synonym.
Of course it was suppressed.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God, that's a joke right
That's
there.
funny. That's fucking funny.
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's like when you say renege too. People think that's like racist.
No, that's
But
just
it's not.
spades. That's just spades. That's just
That's just
What?
spades.
that's just what it is.
That's just spades.
Oh,
Oh shit.
okay.
All right, well, you guys,
Oh,
I
that's-
no longer
that-
feel
that's-
safe in this space.
That's a decent way to end it, I guess. I'm sorry we scared you away.
It's fine. I'll never see you again.
We like to end every podcast with me being called racist and then it being
No, no.
easily
Trust and
disproved.
believe, this podcast would end way differently if I thought you were.
Hey, Parker, never say that word in public. Never.
Please don't.
It's a real word.
I know,
I don't
but
give a
you're
damn.
gonna get
Look at
punched.
you over there sniggering to yourself.
Oh my God, Parker.
Because
Oh,
you're laughing half suppressed right now.
oh man.
How did you guys not know that this was a word?
Cut this shit off.
Because,
Cut it
because,
off.
because I'm not a racist. No.
It's not like they sit around at KKK meetings, like, here are words that are close to the N word, so you can
Bruh,
say it
okay.
in public.
Hey, you know
Have
what?
you heard that?
Maybe that's how this
Wait.
happened. Maybe that's how this word got in there. They're sitting around a KKK meeting back in the day,
Snigger.
and they got it back up in the dictionary.
It does start to sound bad now.
Yes.
Oh,
Especially with the
why?
hard
Because it literally
R.
has the word.
Yes.
And S's are sometimes
Oh,
like
It
forgotten.
sounds like
Right.
you're almost sneezing beforehand. Snigger. Like you're just trying to get away from it. That's unfortunate. You can't
It
do
sounds-
Yeah, you can say snigger as long as you don't say bless you afterwards. That's the rule.
that.
It
Oh,
sounds
no.
like you're trying to get
Oh
away
my
with something.
God.
This is mad.
It does sound like you're trying to. It's
It
like
sounds like
Snickers
it-
bar.
yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
All right, guys, it's been Victoria Vibes. Thank you very much for watching.
Oh,
I'm gonna clip that clip and just do like a couple clips this week. But
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You're gonna clip that clip.
Yeah, thank you very much for
I love
watching.
how you all thought I was just making up a word.
To say the N word.
I thought you
That's
were.
exactly what I thought was happening. I was like, what the hell is happening, Parker?
Oh,
Oh my
shit.
God.
Like, share, subscribe, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Peace.